Take a seat, young Padawan. You have much to learn. Welcome to Day 9, Chapter 9 of our Proverbs Bible study. That was a really cringy intro, but we're going with it. Today, we are going to do the same format as we did yesterday, and we're just going to dive in as if you've already read this chapter. Pause this video and read through it if you haven't already. Again, we see wisdom personified, and wisdom has built her house. She has hewn her 7 pillars. She has slaughtered her beast. She has mixed her wine. She has also set her table. The house has been built. The foundation has been laid. The framing has been complete. The drywall is done. And if wisdom is wise, she's probably built a brownstone. That is my favorite house, but I can see it in the suburbs of Washington, D.C. It's a fall evening. The leaves are coming down. A little bit of rain maybe. You walk through the front door into kind of the entryway. Beautiful wood oak door. You walk in, you see the staircase going up to the second floor. Over to the right, you can see the living space, a couple of couches, maybe some chairs, a nice fireplace. The cornice, the crown molding is 3 layers deep. Beautiful paneling along the walls. Maybe in one room, it's like judges' panels. Just a lot of traditional, very ornate and beautiful woodworking and trim throughout the house. The kitchen maybe has a little bit of a modern twist to it. That's the type of house that I want to live in. And so again, if wisdom is smart, which wisdom is, that's probably the type of house that wisdom has built. I am totally joking, by the way, but I know brownstones are not everyone's favorites. You might like modern farmhouse. I don't know. Let me know in the comments below what your favorite style of home is and what you hope wisdom has built for you. All joking aside, this is wisdom preparing the table, preparing the house for all believers to come and partake and share in wisdom. Unless you don't like brownstones. Verse 3, she has sent out her young women to call from the highest places in the town. Whoever is simple, let him turn in here. To him who lacks sense, she says, come, eat of my bread and drink of my wine. I have mixed. Leave your simple ways and live, and walk in the way of insight. Another call, another open invitation to anybody that is willing to learn. This is that you're partaking in the wisdom of God, and you are taking on the character of God. It's that fellowship, it's that communion, it's that time with the Lord. So again, the table is set. Please, young Padawan, have a seat. You have much to learn. Aren't we all, young Padawans? Star Wars reference, if you're not familiar with that. Then starting in verse 7, a wise person accepts correction, but the fool rejects it. It says, whoever corrects a scoffer gets himself abuse, and he who reproves a wicked man incurs injury. Do not reprove a scoffer, or he will hate you. Reprove a wise man, and he will love you. Give instruction to a wise man, and he will be still wiser. Teach a righteous man, and he will increase in learning. The contrast here is accept wisdom, accept correction, accept instruction from those around you, from those that have authority over you, that are older than you, that are smarter than you. Be the type of person that is willing to accept critique, positive feedback, anything that's going to help you just become a better person, both morally and just in the world. And the contrast here is that a scoffer, the person that hates reproof, they're violent, they're abusive, they hate. And then verse 10, the fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom. We heard that at the beginning of the chapter. It said knowledge. It's the beginning of knowledge. I'm sorry, chapter 1 is where we first heard that. Chapter 1, verse 7, the fear of the Lord is the beginning of knowledge. So in this section, the fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom, and the knowledge of the Holy One is insight. And again, this verse, the fear of the Lord, is that prerequisite to obtaining wisdom. It is the anchor. It is the foundation for the entire book. It's what we go by in order to receive wisdom. It's not just, yo, Lord, hey, give me wisdom. All right, see you. But there is reverence. There is fear. The fear being the reverence, it's the humility, it's becoming that person that is willing to hear that reproof, that is understanding and knowing that you don't have all the answers, you don't lean on your own understanding. You look to the Lord for insight, you look to the Lord for the right answers, for instruction, for direction. And then verse 11, we've seen this in a previous chapter where it talks about the longevity of life through wisdom. you accept wisdom, you live by godly principles, your days will be multiplied. This is a promise of God to the believer. Now, to break this down a little bit, I think it's twofold. I do think it is both literal and figuratively. So if you think about someone that is not wise, that does not live by godly principles, they are more susceptible to the ways of the world. The ways of the world can be addiction, it can be abuse, put whatever behind that, whether it's drugs or alcohol. Oftentimes you'll see that where people will become addicted, it'll lead them either to an early grave or to prison. So it is literal in that sense. And then of course, if you choose not to do those things, if you're prudent, if you are discerning, you're going to say, hey, I'm not going to partake in that. I can see how that can be harmful to me and my family. Well, boom, you're automatically going to live, longer. I don't think that I don't think that what it's saying is that it's a magic potion. And if you just accept wisdom, then all of a sudden God's just going to start adding years to your life. You may still not live super long, right? I don't know how to best put that without, YouTube not being happy with me, but you get the gist there. I also do think it is figurative, that it's not necessarily just saying that, you're going to be gone sooner rather than later if you don't live by wisdom, but figurative in the sense that the life in your years, it just may not be as fruitful. I'll throw my dad under the bus. He's not here anymore. He passed away several years ago, but some of the decisions that he made early on in his 20s and his 30s, they did affect my mom. It affected me as well, which is why he's not here anymore. But there were some of those consequences early on that, while they didn't necessarily lead him to a grave at that point, the life in the years, he was absent because he was selfishly choosing, the lifestyle that he wanted to live. It wasn't prudent. It wasn't wise. So I think not choosing wisdom can both rob you from both of those. It can lead you to an early grave, but then also just a life that's just not fruitful. That's what I'm trying to say. That's it. That's what I want to say. And now we're moving on to the final section, which is the way of the folly. Big contrast between the way of the wise and the way of the folly here, okay? So verse 13, the woman folly is loud, and folly is capitalized here. She is seductive and knows nothing. She sits at the door of her house. She takes a seat on the highest places of the town, calling to those who pass by, who are going straight on their way. She says, whoever is simple, let him turn in here. And to him who lacks sense, she says, stolen water is sweet and bread eaten in secret is pleasant. But he does not know that the dead are there and that her guests are in the depths of Sheol. Folly is loud. It's seductive. It offers, pleasantries and pleasures of a very empty life. Think about the world around us and think about what the world offers us on a regular basis, a daily basis. Ponder the emptiness that it offers you. The point being is that sin is very enticing. It's easy. It really attaches itself to our ADHD and our ADD and our procrastinating nature, our laziness, our, risk-taking, all of those things. Sin finds its way into the nooks and crannies of those imperfections in who we are as humans. But the antidote, as we've said before, is a fear of the Lord. The fear of the Lord is the hinge, and the door swings either towards folly or it swings towards wisdom. And we have the opportunity as believers to choose. And we can choose to swing towards wisdom in a house that looks like a brownstone and go enjoy and partake in the prudence and the insight and the discretion and the beauty that is wisdom, that is godly principles. Or we can go the way of folly, which ultimately leads to death. That's all I've got for you guys today. Chapter 9. Hope you enjoyed this, and I pray you have an amazing day. Let me know if you have any questions. Comment below, and we will see you guys in day 10, chapter 10. That makes sense. See ya.